Afternoon. I'm Jason Medlock. You're listening to Expansion of Consciousness, and we have a great show for you tonight. Just hang in there, and we'll get this thing going real shortly. Can we be healed by alternative means? Tonight, we will discuss the different methods used by a healer, spiritual advisor, and the owner of Heality Now, Ebony Townsend. Ebony's healing journey began at a very early age. She was always compelled to help as many souls as possible and used her secondary studies to pursue passion. The first iteration of this calling was in the medical field, starting in 2001. Ebony is a graduate of Purdue University and the University of Texas with degrees in health science and nursing, respectively. Upon graduating, she worked as a registered nurse at some of Houston's most prestigious hospitals, including MD Anderson Cancer Center and Methodist Hospital. During her tenure as a nurse in the allopathic medical system, she saw countless people being helped, but not being healed. It compelled her to shift her focus and to use her expertise in organizational leadership to become an entrepreneur. To Ebony, Heality isn't simply a holistic healing center in Houston. Instead, it's a way for her to share her divine gift of healing with people who need it the most. She holds certifications in vibroacoustic therapy, spiritual life coaching, hypnosis, and energy healing. Her mission is to live life, to give those in need the power, the confidence, and courage they need to bring balance, peace, and happiness to their lives. Ebony's dutifully serves the people around her, near and far, with deep-seated love and compassion that sparks lasting transformation in their lives. And I want to welcome on my co-host, Tereska Harrison. What's up, sis?
Hey there. What's up? How are you?
I'm doing good. People don't know that, but behind the scenes, I mean, we were struggling.
Yes.
We were struggling with trying to make sure this audio was right, but here we are. And without further ado, we're going to go ahead and bring Miss Ebony on. Ebony, how are you?
Hello. I'm doing well. Thanks for having me, Jason, and thanks. I'm glad to be here, Tereska.
Yeah, listen, Tereska and I was talking a little bit, before we brought you on. These computers, this technology. Sometimes you just have to roll with it. But
roll with it.
Fortunately, we got this thing working.
Mercury retrograde too, so maybe some troubling times with technology for the next.
Ain't that right? Yeah. Ebony, I got to tell the audience how we met. I actually sought you out. I was on Meetup, just looking for people to connect with. And when you're walking that walk, and when you're in the middle of that awakening and you're learning, you're reading, you're writing books, you're doing your thing, you hunt for people that are sort of walking that same path. And I saw I think you were hosting a some type of meetup event, and I signed up for it. And I ended up coming to Heality Now. And wow, we talked on the phone. I immediately emailed you. You sent me your website, got on the website, put my data in, paid my money. Hey, listen, you got to pay the girl. I mean, woke doesn't mean broke. Yeah. but I paid my money. But when I got to your establishment, it was just peace. I mean, you were very, very, we immediately connected. And I wanted the vibroacoustic therapy because I had done so much research on sound and how sound heals. And that's what we're trying to that's our discussion tonight. The the miracles of healing, the modalities that exist out there. We just need to really unearth these topics for our people, for all the people, and give them a good understanding on how these healing modalities work, and do they really work? Tereska, do you have a comment on that?
Well, I think this is important when you mentioned that one of your missions is to give power, confidence, and courage for the people. A lot of times we're nervous that we're being crazy, or to when we want to hone into the earth to heal ourselves, or reach for the things that are really in us. Even with Christianity, God says we have everything we need within. He's given us the power to do all things. And so I think it's important that the average listener here realizes that healing comes from within, and we have the power, if we get the knowledge, to do just that.
So, Ebony, can you walk us through, and I know that you've walked a long journey, sort of take us through when it started to happen for you, how'd you realize that, I think I possess some sort of a gift, and what's going on with me? Can you walk us through that a little bit?
Oh, sure. So when I was a kid, I would guess different. I thought different. I remember going outside as a young kid, and I would always stare up at the stars, and I knew that there was something more out there. And at that time, I was born in the 80s. So in the 80s, it was no other life out there besides just us humans on planet Earth. And that didn't resonate with me when I was younger. So I've always had that, what else is out there, and so on and so forth. And when I was younger, I always knew that I wanted to help people. And so I participated in a lot of different things. But one of the things that really captured my heart, and is still a part of my heart to this day, is music. And so I played the saxophone for about 15 years, a little bit of piano, self-taught on the drums, and so on and so forth. Fast forward, I ended up going to school and ended up in the medical field. And when I ended up in the medical field, I started off in the blood banking industry doing training and development, management, and things of that nature. And so I really had an opportunity to really help people. Okay, because the people that were coming in, they were donating their blood in order to help others. And there was always this inkling in me that I always wanted to become a nurse. So I went back to school, became a registered nurse, and then I worked in the hospital system, and I also did bedside nursing as well. And when I was a nurse, I saw a lot, and I still have my nursing license. I just don't practice bedside nursing. But when I was working in the hospital system, I saw a lot. I saw a lot of sickness. I saw a lot of death and things of that nature. And I saw a lot of medications. And I started to, my wheels in my head started to turn we're helping people, but there have to be a better way besides all of these medications, because these medications, they have their purpose, but they do have side effects and so on and so forth. So those wheels started to turn when I was practicing bedside nursing. But prior to that, I had my initial spiritual awakening in 2006 after watching a film called The Secret.
Yeah, I hate to interrupt you, but this woman right here,
yes,
she pounded me, Ebony, when I was in college, out of college, to watch The Secret, and that's how I got started as well. I hated to interrupt you with that. That just hit me like a brick.
And and I feel like at that time that The Secret, when it came out, it really just expanded a lot of people's minds.
Yes.
And it was a good friend of mine. He called me and he was like, "Hey, Ab, watch this and call me back." Click, and just hung up. And then so I was like, okay. So I've always been inquisitive. So I watched The Secret back in 2006. And from there, I was like, oh my goodness. I said, our thoughts become things. And so I started reflecting on my life. And I realized that every single thing that I had thought of, good or bad, manifested in my life.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, wow, okay. So then I started to study just the mind and the brain. And I started working with subliminal messages and reprogramming my subconscious mind, because after watching The Secret, I realized, man, everything that's in my subconscious mind, that's what I'm experiencing in my reality. So I started using hypnosis on myself. I started listening to subliminal messaging tapes while I go to sleep on repeat for the entire 8 or 9 hours that I was asleep. I was reading a lot of books, a lot of personal development books, self-help books, things of that nature. Everything was going fine until I reached what they call the dark night of the soul, which is a part of the spiritual awakening. And it's pretty much where all havoc is breaking loose, or at least that's what it was in my life. So physically, I was sick. I had asthma really, really bad. I was diagnosed at the age of 6. I almost died twice from it. At the age of 38, I was told I had the lungs of a 70-year-old. I was on all these medications. I was overweight. I had unhealthy habits. I was in a toxic relationship. My money was funny. I mean, everything, every part. So this carried on. And what I realized at that time was that I was doing something called spiritual bypassing. And spiritual bypassing is just basically going for all the fun and fluffy stuff and not really digging down into the meat and the nitty gritty of healing.
Yes.
And it wasn't until 2020, which a lot of people's lives changed in 2020, mine did too. It was in 2020, I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. Sick and tired of being sick and tired. So I remember I dropped to my knees in the living room and I was crying. I was crying some tears. And I said, please help me. I need help. And the first thing that I heard was start a daily meditation practice right now. I've always been a clairaudient, so I hear guidance throughout my life. But when I was going through that dark night of the soul, I wasn't listening to the guidance. So when I received that guidance of starting to meditate every single day, it was a pandemic, everything was closed down. Here I am. So I started this meditating. It was very challenging at first because my mind was all over the place, but I stuck with it because I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. And about 2 months, maybe even less, I started to notice improvements. My breathing started to improve. I noticed that my thoughts weren't so rapid. My diet changed. I just had this zest for life. And that was just 2 months of meditating. And so I continued on with my journey. And I tell you this, when you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, you will try and do anything. And so I was working with all kinds of healers. I was trying different modalities. And then I found myself in Sedona, Arizona. This was June of 2020. I actually wanted to go out of the country, but the borders was closed for the country I wanted to go to. And so I went to Sedona. Sedona just really changed my life. A magical, magical, magical place. And while I was in Sedona, I experienced vibroacoustic therapy for the first time, which is sound healing using vibrations that you can feel on your body as well as frequencies that you're listening to. And after my session, I jumped up and I was like, what in the world? What did you just do? I mean, like my body, I just felt like expansive. I felt invincible. I had so many aha moments and insights and downloads and so on and so forth. And so I said, you know what? When I get back to Houston, I'm getting one of these beds. And so I did. Came back to Houston, got on the bed every single day. I mean, miraculous things. Everything turned around. People that no longer resonated with energetically, they just faded out of my life. I lost 40 pounds. I am now medication free. I can ride 30 miles with no medications, and good eating habits and so on and so forth. And so I continued on with my healing journey. And then in November of 2020, I found myself in Ecuador experiencing ayahuasca, which is a very powerful plant medicine for the first time. And so I spent 13 days in the jungle. Okay, this is a city girl here. And so I used to tell myself, city girl, in the middle of the jungle, experiencing this plant medicine because I realized that I needed to heal. Okay, we've all had experiences. We've all may have some trauma in our life. And I realized that I needed to heal that. And once I healed that, well, it's always a healing journey, but once I dedicated to healing, then I knew that my life would improve in all areas. So here I am taking this ayahuasca. And then after ayahuasca, that experience, just everything just really started like fast forward. So that's where Heality was given to me during my ayahuasca ceremony, and other healing modalities as well. And so I started Heality officially on paper the very end of 2020 in December, but I opened for business in March of 2021 and have been going since. So that's my journey. And as I was going through my healing process, my body started to change. I look different. Like how I look right now, I look completely different than I did 2 years ago. And my hands would start to burn. And I would hear these messages as I was speaking to people. And the messages would like, tell this person this. And at first I was resistant. I was like, no, that's kind of weird. No, it's like, say it. And then when I would say it, every person was like, oh my gosh, how did you know? How did you know I needed to hear that? And I was like, I don't know. I was just told to say this. So I kind of like just fell into all of this as soon as I started to heal and do the inner work. And then all these gifts came out for me to share with those that I help today. Oh, so that was a very short version of a long story.
We've been having audio problems. So, I want people to chime in if they hear, crazy sounds and noises, so we can kind of make sure we can, correct as we go. However, Ebony, we've talked about this a little bit before, but your walk is so eerily similar to mine. I didn't go to the jungle or anything like that, but the way you evolved is the same way I evolved. And I'm pretty sure a lot of other people in the same vein. But I want to go back to when you got on this sound bed, vibroacoustic therapy. You warned me. You said, hey, have you ever traveled? I'm like, yeah. Well, you may travel when you get in this bed. And I called my sister after I came to your establishment, and I did the therapy, the healing session. I could see how it could reinvigorate your cells. It could start to change your expression and how you view life, losing weight, vibrating higher than the people that you used to hang around. Tereska, you know what I mean? It's fabulous.
Yeah, absolutely. I absolutely know what you mean. It's interesting how, and the frequencies and sound, because it's what we're made of too. It's just how we connect to it. It's almost like it coming together, and we are realigning with ourselves, with the frequency and the energy part. So that's quite interesting. I have a quick little question for you. I wanted you to expound on Dark Night of Soul. I never heard that term. So what is that?
So there's various stages of the spiritual awakening process, and there's not like a linear way that we all go through the stages. We may bounce from one stage to the other, but the dark night of the soul, that's pretty much where we have lost or forgotten, like completely forgotten who we really are. And which is, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And so when we get to that point of where we've really lost connection with our true self, then of course the manifestation is going to be havoc in our lives, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And in my case, it was in all areas at the same time. See, I had always been very open-minded, very spiritual and things of that nature. But life, sometimes life gets us, and I appreciate the dark night of the soul. It wasn't that fun when I was going through it, but I really appreciate that, because now I can appreciate the light. And I feel like when we do go through that dark, then it just makes the light even way better.
Yeah.
Ebony, one thing that's very interesting, when you said I kept performing hypnosis on myself.
Mm-hmm.
Were you looking at past lives? Were you looking at, were you going to the Akashic records? Tell us about that a little bit. And then I know you actually offer hypnosis as a service. And is it regressive therapy? Kind of fill us in on what you're doing with that.
So when I initially started to use hypnosis on myself, this was in the early 2000s. We still had the CDs and all of that. And so I would buy these hypnosis programs or these subliminal messaging programs. And at that time, I really wasn't into like regression and past lives and things of that nature. What I wanted at that time was just to really just reach my maximum potential. okay, in any area of my life, whether I was studying for something or I was performing some type of recreational sport or just wanted to just reach my full human potential. And so I started using hypnosis and subliminal messaging just to change my mindset, because believe it or not, a lot of the beliefs and thoughts that we have, they aren't even our beliefs or our thoughts. They may have been passed down to us from family members or school or what we watch on television or what we read or what someone else said. So once I watched The Secret and really delved into it, I was like, okay, so these beliefs aren't really mine. So I need to reprogram with some beliefs that I want in here so that I can start experiencing my life the way that I wanted to experience it. So that was my initial use of hypnosis. And when all of these very rapid changes occurred in 2020, I was so intrigued with hypnosis and how it worked for me back then. I trained to become a hypnotherapist. And basically, just to clear any misconceptions about hypnosis, it's not woo-woo. This is real stuff. And actually, we are in a wonderful period of time right now where scientists are actually able to measure these things, our brainwave frequencies. They hook athletes electrodes up to their brain and have them just sit there and visualize running a race or playing a game, and they will actually start to perspire and things of that nature. So we're in a beautiful time where this isn't woo-woo. So hypnosis is just basically a relaxed state of awareness where our critical conscious mind that's always telling us what we can and cannot do takes a back seat. And then the therapist can speak directly to the person's subconscious mind and help change thought patterns, behaviors. We can do past life regressions. We can dig to that trauma that a lot of people hold on to. There's just so many different things that we can do with hypnosis. And the thing is no side effects. You're in complete control and rapid changes, very rapid changes, like immediate.
Let me just do a quick reset. You're listening to The Expansion of Consciousness. I'm your host, Jason Medlock, and my co-host, Tereska Harrison. And our guest tonight is Ebony Townsend. Ebony is a hypnotherapist. She is a intuitive. Also, she is a healer. Hey, Ebony, now you keep saying a buzzword. I'm smiling, Tereska's smiling, because we're in a manifestation club that we started.
Yeah.
And we're in the second quarter of this manifestation. We're doing it for an entire year. But the one thing we're doing constantly is reprogramming our subconscious mind.
Yes.
And to hear you keep saying it, it's just it reinforces all the work we're doing. This quarter alone, we've written maybe 8 letters to our subconscious mind over different topics.
Yeah.
Do you want to dig into reprogramming the subconscious mind? Because the average person is like, what is she talking about, really?
Oh yeah, I love this stuff. I could talk for hours. I'll talk to your ears fall off about this. So each one of us, human beings, we have basically two main parts of our mind. Okay, but we're way more expansive than that. But we have our conscious mind and we have our subconscious mind. And so our conscious mind, that's what we're using right now. And we're actively listening and we're actively speaking and we're actively making decisions and we're actually actively thinking and all of these various things. And then you have your subconscious mind. So your subconscious mind, that's the part of us that is absorbing information, whether we are aware of it or not. Okay. An example, has anyone ever been in a room with a bunch of people and they're having a conversation with one person and they hear their name in this loud room? Has anyone ever experienced that? Okay. That's your subconscious mind listening to everything. Even though you're engaged in this conversation with this one person, your subconscious mind is absorbing everything. Okay. So here's the thing with your subconscious mind, it doesn't use discernment and say, well, I don't like that thought or that idea or that behavior, so I'll just throw that out and keep this one. Your subconscious mind is taking in everything. So I share with people, it is so important to be mindful of what you're reading, what you're listening to, who you're associating with, so on and so forth, because you're always taking in what's in your environment. Okay. So with that being said, we all come into the world as babies, right? Come into our family. And that's pretty much where the programming starts as far as our subconscious mind. And it's not that our family members mean us any harm or anything like that. They're just talking and speaking what they were taught. So we get these beliefs, and then we go to school, and maybe we didn't make that grade in that class like we were supposed to, and we got in trouble and we felt like inadequate. All of that is stored in our subconscious mind. And then we go on the job, and if we work a job and we don't get that promotion, then okay, I don't feel worthy again. We were watching the news and listening to different types of music. All of this is going into your subconscious mind. Not only that, any trauma that you have experienced, sometimes from past lives, starting from the womb of your mother, or even in this lifetime, all of that, those traumatic experiences, it's all stored in the subconscious mind. So as you can see, there's a lot of stuff that's in the subconscious mind that may not be so high vibrational. So whatever's in your subconscious mind, that is what you're going to experience in your reality. That's universal law, okay? Whether it's good or whether it's bad. And those two words, they just are. They just are. And so if you want to change your life, then you have to reprogram your subconscious mind. And there's various methods to do so. You can do affirmations, okay? I am prosperous. I am abundant. I am healthy. I am loved. Those are affirmations. And when you say affirmations, you always want to say them in the present form, present tense. I am. I am.
Say that again. Say it louder, Ebony.
I am. Okay. I am are the two most powerful words that any human being can say. And whatever you follow, I am with, trust me, it's going to be in your life. I know I'm a great manifester. I can manifest some pretty bad, you know what?
Yeah.
I can manifest some good things too as well. So you can use affirmations. Another technique that I use, lofty questions. So for example, if I'm trying to figure out something and I don't know the answer right then and there, I'll ask my brain, how can I manifest more resources to get my gift out to those who need it? Okay. And what that does is anytime we ask our brain a question, it's going to think of a solution. Okay. So if you ask yourself, why am I always broke? Guess what? Your brain's going to give you reasons. It's going to manifest as poverty or broke or not having money, because your brain is trained to answer whatever question you give it. Okay. And then they have subliminal messaging. I love subliminal messaging because they play that beautiful meditative music. Yes. And they have these beautiful affirmations in there, very, very faint. So you can't hear them. And there's a purpose for that, because if your critical conscious mind hears it, be like, yeah, right, that's not true. So subliminal messaging, they put the messages in there very, very faintly, and they use different frequencies and brainwave technology so your subconscious mind can receive it. And then hypnosis is another way to tap into the subconscious mind. So these are just hacks that I've used over the years to really help me. And I'll tell you this, when I was in nursing school, I was working full time. And at that time, I was working about 60, 70 hours a week and going to school. So obviously, I didn't have a whole lot of time to study. So what I would do is I would listen to these subliminal messaging tapes while I sleep, exam success, and ace nursing school. And I studied a little bit, but probably not as much as I typically would have had I not listened to those subliminal messages. So it's very powerful. So I just, challenge each and every one of you all viewing this, start being mindful. Start being mindful of what you're listening to, what you're reading, who you're around, and things of that nature. And just take inventory. Don't judge yourself or anything like that. Just take inventory. Say, okay.
I like what you said. You said, I have all these little hacks.
Mm-hmm.
And what we need to understand is that we're living in a software, a program that has corrective code that corrects itself. And let's talk about the sway test. There are a lot of little hacks. There's a sway test out there that you can actually ask questions of your subconscious mind. I use it all the time. I'm coming out with a book late July, early August. It's called The Expansion of Consciousness. And it's so refreshing to hear you speak, because it's almost like you wrote my book.
We're definitely so connected, for sure.
Yes, I've used associate remote viewing and scientific remote viewing. I'm very, very proficient in both modalities. In both of those modalities, your subconscious mind is very, very important to gain information. In scientific remote viewing, we're looking for an unknown object that's unknown to us in any timeline, past, present, future. I'm typically able to pinpoint where this object is, where this missing person is, where this dog is, or what's in the box in your bedroom up under the bed. I know what's in there. I can use scientific remote viewing. Associate remote viewing is predicting future events. Now, all these fancy names that go with these the modalities, but only thing I'm doing is I'm using techniques to access my subconscious mind to give me answers. Mm-hmm. So you're right, Ebony. If people started to listen to the way they communicated to others or to themselves about themselves, their situation, or what they want to be, just start with I am. And there are a lot of techniques that you can use to access your subconscious mind. It's fascinating. And I just wish more people would try to understand that.
I have a question, because I want to give an example, because I do that. I go to sleep with my music going, my affirmations going, or sounds or whatever. But then somewhere along the way in my sleep mode, I didn't have a nightmare. I mean, it doesn't happen every night, but it may happen every blue moon or so. And I always wonder when I wake up, why did that happen when I'm, engulfed in this music and trying to really focus on that, and then this happens. Can you help me with that?
I'm going to hand this one over to Jason, just because I don't really remember my dreams. I know I astral travel in my dreams. I'm very aware of that. And there are specific dreams that I do remember, like if I'm healing a specific person in the astral plane. So Jason, grabbing that one.
Well, the first thing you have to, all our dreams, not just yours, Tereska, and not just everybody, when you're having a dream, it's being presented to you by your subconscious mind. It means something. So what I would say to that is, I would say write down, every time you have a dream, whoever it may be, write down the details of the dream each and every time. It's like a puzzle. Your subconscious mind chooses what it wants to show you. Mm-hmm. So let's just say that it turns into, you say the boogeyman, it may turn into somebody. Well, your subconscious mind is showing you that so that you can get over that fear. Because fear is the worst thing a human can have.
Yes.
You cannot do anything with fear.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's exactly. And I try to tell people to track that stuff, because you can lucid dream. Now, lucid dreaming is totally different. That means that you're in control of the dream. Okay. And as far as astral traveling, I noticed Ebony said, well, I'm in the astral plane healing people from the astral plane. It's almost like I'm a certified galactic energy healer, but I channel different dimensions for the patterns to bring them back to heal. So in essence, there is a way to move from this dimension to find different patterns, different products to heal people in our current third dimension. I know that'll take us a whole nother show, Ebony.
Oh yeah.
And people may say, what are they talking about? We're researching, we're reading, we're trying, we're testing all these different modalities, and they work. And you have to ask yourself, are you content with the way your life is going right now? Some people are, some people are not. And if you are not, there are a lot of different ways that you can change that.
So you're Ebony, Heality now.
So the company name is Heality, and their website, is www.heality now.
Heality, okay.
Yes.
That is pretty clever.
Off of when you heal yourself, that's when your reality shifts. Heality.
Oh, I love that. I was wanting to know where you got that title from, for sure.
Yes.
Heality.
And I want to invite the audience. I want to invite the audience, ask questions. I mean, don't let us hog everybody's time. You guys are here. You guys are on. Just ask questions. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Jessica.
What are some other types of healing methods do you use?
So I resonate with anything sound frequency, as well as plant medicine. So I love hypnosis. Energy healing really resonates with me. Any type of anything with sound bowls, frequency music, solfeggio frequencies, that's another set. And then also I do resonate with plant medicine. So in the early 2000s, I watched a documentary about ayahuasca. So ayahuasca is a bark that comes from the Amazon jungle, and it's mixed and boiled for hours and hours and hours. And the medicine men and women of the indigenous tribes of that culture, they serve ayahuasca. And ayahuasca has very, 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 very deep healing properties. I mean, on a physical level, spiritual, mental, emotional. People have experienced ayahuasca and have been cancer gone and things of that nature. Yeah. And believe it or not, John Hopkins University here in the United States is using ayahuasca right now, as well as psilocybin mushrooms. And they're actually finding that it's curing major depression that was said to be incurable and things of that nature, bringing people off of all these psych meds and things of that nature. And so with the ayahuasca, I knew how deep it was. So back in the early 2000s, when I watched the documentary, I was kind of like, that sounds like something that I may want to dive into. But it didn't call me until 2020. It was like everywhere I went, people were talking about ayahuasca. If I went to a bookstore, the first book I would see is ayahuasca. Turn on YouTube, ayahuasca. And then I started dreaming about ayahuasca, very vivid dreams. And I was working with the energy coach at that time for healing in my body energetically. And I said, hey, I'm dreaming about this ayahuasca. And she said, the plant has a message for you, so it's time. Wow. So these different plant medicines, what they allow you to do is just really just tap into your true self, expand your consciousness, dive deep into those traumas and view them from a different perspective, this perspective outside of where you were at the time that you experienced that trauma. You can get answers, you can get downloads, you get physical healing, so on and so forth. So I really resonate with anything with sound and vibrations, anything dealing with the brain and the mind. And I love Mother Earth's medicines. And when I was in Ecuador experiencing ayahuasca, we would go on these hikes, intense hikes, and our guide, he would tell us the different medicinal properties of all the plants. And I remember leaning against a tree, and I'm just listening to him. Huge, huge trees. These trees, words can't even describe how big they are. I'm leaning against this tree, and he says, oh, that tree that you're leaning against right there, it cures blood cancer. He said, you boil the bark and do this, and it cures blood cancer. Wow. I was like, what? Now, my mother had lymphoma, and she survived it, but she had lymphoma, which is a type of blood cancer, and she was diagnosed in 2016. And of course, here in Western society, we went through the chemotherapy and things of that nature. But here I am in the jungle, leaning on a tree where you just boil the bark, and it cures blood cancer. And so I asked the gentleman, I said, you know what? Is there a cure for everything? And he told me, he said, yes, we have a cure for every single thing out here in the jungle. He said, the only thing we haven't found yet is how to get rid of a wart that you may have on your hand. I said, that's it.
I want you to, I noticed you skipped over what happened after you drank the ayahuasca, but I know what happened. What dimension did you go to? But you want to do it now? You want to answer the question?
Either or.
Okay. Talk about when you drank it, the experience. We know it has healing properties, but it does other things too. You and I had a conversation about albino mushroom, and obviously, I've been experimenting with the albino mushroom, and I've gone to some places. Chapter 7 in my book, I have a whole chapter devoted to psychedelics. And, kind of the history of it and how I've used it and, the effects and the pros and the cons. But ayahuasca is a powerful healing drug, healing medicine, but it also takes you to the spiritual world.
Yeah. So ayahuasca, it's first of all, you just don't do ayahuasca, okay? Because it's a whole journey, it's a whole process. You have to be called to it, okay? Um, for sure. It's not one of those things you just do.
Okay.
And you have to prepare for it too, because this is a teacher plan and it's going to purify you in all ways, physically, mentally, emotionally, and even spiritually. So prior to you experiencing ayahuasca, you have to go on a strict diet: no sauce, no sugars, no alcohol, no processed food, just pretty much straight healthy food that we should be eating anyways. And then you have to refrain from watching anything violent on television, and even any type of sexual activity, because that mixes energy as well, because everything is energy. So you prep for this, okay? And the reason that you prep for this is because whenever you drink the ayahuasca, it's made into tea, it's going to, first of all, want to purify every part of you, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So if you have a bunch of McDonald's in your system at that time, and then you go drink ayahuasca, then it's going to bring all that up. Okay, so they want you to clean your body before you get there, so that way you can really receive the healing from the medicine itself. So it's a very sacred medicine, very, very sacred, and we should respect this medicine. So as far as drinking it, you're in a group, and ayahuasca is served by a shaman. Okay, the shaman could be a man or a woman, but this is pretty much a medicine man or a medicine woman who has worked for many years with this plant and have used it to help many others. And the reason that you want to experience this being facilitated by a shaman is because they can move and they can channel energy. Okay, if there's some dark energy,
shamans are powerful.
Yes,
right.
yes. So when this dark energy comes up, they're able to move that energy out of the space, okay? And so you drink this ayahuasca tea or brew, and your journey lasts anywhere. It could be 4 hours all the way up to 8 hours, depending. Each person is different, okay? And each person experiences something different during their ayahuasca journey. My journey, I had some visuals, but I received a lot of audio information, a lot of downloads. That tends to be one of my strong, spiritual gifts, is clear audience. I can hear. I've been hearing since I was a kid, and that ties in with my love of music. And so my experience was lots of downloads. Like literally, I was like sitting there and just receiving all this wisdom, all this knowledge, all this perspective, so on and so forth. And it was so loving. It was so loving. It was words can't even describe love, the love that I felt. So when you say unconditional love, like that's unconditional love right there. And I had an opportunity to experience that. And I didn't have all the, geometrical patterns and kaleidoscopes and colors and things of that nature, as some people do, but I got exactly what I needed. And that's the thing with these plant medicines, the colors are fine. I've experienced that with other plant medicines and beautiful and things of that nature. But really, the medicine is going to give you exactly what you need to see, what you need to feel, what you need to hear in order to transform your life. So ayahuasca was very, very beautiful. You will purge. Not everyone, but most people will purge in some way on the first ceremony. And that's just getting rid of what no longer serves you, little discomfort, but for a lifetime of just abundance and peace, I'll take a purge for a day. So
let's get to some questions. I know these people are it's stacking up.
Okay.
Tosca, my other sister Tosca wants to know, where are these plants found?
So ayahuasca is grown in the Amazon jungle. Okay, Brazil is a very popular place. Peru is another one. Ecuador. Those are found there. Then you have your other plant medicines or fungi, psilocybin mushrooms. You can find those pretty much in the field, wherever you are. You can grow them. Peyote, which is another type of plant medicines that Native Americans use. You can find that in the desert. There's so many different kinds.
I've been like the Abano shrine I was telling you about, the mushroom that I've taken, that grows in cow manure. And it is powerful. Let's get to D. D wants to know, can you speak on trusting the process? And I think what she means is, when you were going through your spiritual walk, and a lot of people go through this walk, Ebony, but they get distracted. And like you said, I was going through the walk, but I wasn't really going through the walk until I had to, just really. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Trusting. Oh boy, do I know about trusting. So that was pretty much one of the big things that my spirit team worked on me, and they're still working on me. You know, I'm working with me on that to this day, but it's way better. So I was that person. I had to have control over everything. I had to know the outcome. I needed to know the step by step of exactly how it was going to happen. Things of that nature, get in relationships, you know, this person, you have to be this way because this makes me feel comfortable this way. And all that stems from just experience, maybe trauma or things of that nature. And so as I was going through my journey, it was difficult for me to let go. And so my spirit team would just say, just trust. I just kept hearing it every day, just trust. Surrender. You asked for our help. We're trying to help you, but we need you to get out the way. You know, I asked for help, and then I wanted to step in there and tell them how to
get out of your own way.
You know, like, how can you ask for help and then you want to step in and tell them how to do it? So I just really had to, it was a process for me. It was really a process for me because I was that person who had to have control and just really just taking baby steps with just little things. Okay. If something happened in my day, even if it was small, that was out of my control, before it used to, you know, really frazzle me. I was like, you know, this is out of my control. I'm just going to allow it to be. Everything's okay. I'm not going to die. And, you know, and guess what? Everything always works out better than I expected. So when you trust, when you surrender, trust me, everything is always better than even our minds, you know, could have thought of. So I hope that helps.
But let me just add that it's hard. One thing for people that are controlling is hard. So that's why, you know, certain exercises like meditation are really good to really calm you and get you into a place of peace and stillness, because that stillness is powerful. So if you don't exercise the stillness part of you, especially if you're a controller, then you're going to have a hard time trusting. So
amen to that, for sure.
For those of you out there, I see a lot of messages coming through. You can go to HealityNow.com and look at all of Ebony's services. We're going to get to all of her services. She's going to talk about her business every day, but Ebony, we're going to hold you here for a while because you got a lot of interesting nuggets.
I know. I'm loving this.
The ears fall off, literally.
Rashonda says, during hypnosis, does your spirit speak or your guides speak through you, like the past life regression? You know how Dolores Cannon, when she, her style of writing.
Yes.
I mean, is that sort of, and I know that when you're doing self-hypnosis, that's kind of hard unless you're recording yourself, but take a stab at that.
So Dolores Cannon, I'm glad you brought her up. So Dolores Cannon, she was pretty much discovered in the 80s and wrote a lot of books about quantum hypnosis healing technique, or QHHT. And basically what she was able to do is to bring her clients into this state and call in their higher self. So we all have a higher self. That's just the part of us that knows everything, every single thing outside of the belief system that we currently live in. And so she was able to bring them to that state. And when she was able to bring them to that state, she was able to get information, a lot of wisdom, a lot of knowledge, because like I said, our higher selves know every single thing. Excuse me. And then she was able to guide them into past lives. Okay. Because we are infinite energy. Okay. This isn't the first time that we've been here, and it won't be the last. Okay. It's ongoing. Energy is never created nor destroyed. Right. Neither created nor destroyed. And so with hypnosis, there's several different types. You know, I can do a type if a person wants to call in their higher selves and ask questions. And then a lot of the hypnosis that I do is pretty much for people who want to, excuse me, I have a tickle in my throat.
Oh, you got you know, but when she talks about Dolores Cannon using her QQT method, Dolores has written some outstanding material. You know, I mean, it's mind-boggling. And that's one of the first books I gave to you, Tereska, and said, hey, you have to understand Dolores Cannon. She has about 25, 30 books. I mean, she's major. She's major.
Yes.
Okay?
So I use hypnosis more so for practical reasons. So people who are stressed, people who lack confidence, people who want to release trauma, I use hypnosis in that way. So, but I have done sessions where I have regressed someone as well as called in their higher self.
Yeah. Tereska, the more I think about this, you got the subconscious mind, you have your higher self, which are the same. And when you regress back to try to figure out why am I suffering from liver cancer, it's typically always a past life that has suffered some type of trauma, some type of misfortune that manifests itself into the current incarnation. So what Dolores Cannon would do, she would go back, she would regress that person and try to figure out which lifetime that they have this type of problem. Maybe not this disease, but just issues. And then she would call in the higher self. And the higher self would typically sometimes say, this person doesn't believe in themselves. And once she starts to believe in herself, then she will see how she can transform her life in her current lifetime. And Dolores would say to the higher self, well, can you allow her to know this? Will you work with me to help her? These are the conversations that Dolores was having with the higher self subconscious to heal people. And I just think it's absolutely amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And it is amazing. I think that people, our listening audience, and people need to know that your subconscious, your spiritual guides, your angels, they're all working in concert to inform you. They're all trying to inform you of things. That's why it's so important that you sit and meditate and go do certain exercises that will allow you to hear them, because we get so in busy life and doing things. And also, let me just add, on top of that, with diseases, you have negative people, people that have probably gone to or in that dark night of the soul, and they're in that place, and that brings forth disease as well. So you just have to recognize. Once you recognize, let's just suggest that people see The Secret, because that's the beginner's version of where people can start. But recognize that you have to recognize you're in the dark night of the soul. You're in that place. Sometimes you have to recognize that and then work on shifting that. But God, our higher being, the universe, however people want to say it, will reveal it to you in ways that will, when you go into the hospital or something happens tragically to you, and then it really makes you focus and really look at what's going on here. How can I change this? It really makes you ask those hard questions.
Yes.
And I'd say
that, is it okay if I add to that too?
Absolutely. Yes.
So being in the medical field, I saw a lot of different diseases and really know how the body works. But on an energetic level, okay, this is a key. Our bodies, we need to pay attention to our bodies. Okay. How are we feeling? Are we getting sick often? Do we have a lot of aches and pains? Do we feel lethargic? Do we feel tired? Because everything is energy, everything. Our emotions, all our emotions are is energy in motion. That's it. And so if we have these lower vibrational emotions, guilt, shame, anger, hate, jealousy, so on and so forth, that's heavy energy. And over time, it just gets stored in our body and in our body. And then it manifests into dis-ease. Dis-ease. Okay, D-I-S-E-A.
I'm going to steal that one.
Yes.
All y'all steal that out there. And so when we're getting sick and we have these chronic conditions, we really need to look at, okay, what's going on with me energetically? And it could be from a past life, like Jason mentioned, or it could be just stress, it could be trauma, it could be these lower vibrational emotions, and they will manifest themselves over time. So just pay attention to your body. And we didn't talk about the chakras yet, but our chakras, each of our 7 chakras, we actually have more than that, but our 7 chakras, they're actually tied to specific organs in our body. So for example, with myself, I suffer from asthma really, really bad since the age of 6. And I realized as I was going through my healing, I had a severely blocked heart chakra. And guess what? Our heart is connected to our Our heart chakra is connected to our heart and our lungs. Okay. So if a person comes in to see me and they're like, oh, you know, I'm on this thyroid medication, I already know there's a throat chakra issue. I'm having problems with my kidneys. I already know it's the sacral chakra, and so on and so forth. So once we balance our energetic field, then that's when we have perfect health. And it's so cool to know this. And that's why I'm so grateful that I had an opportunity to go into the medical field and then bring back the music with it, so I can actually educate the people that I work with on how our emotions and our experiences and our thought patterns is literally affecting our physical health.
Okay, so let's do this. Now let's dive into the everyday business. Let's talk about your operation. Let's go through that. What do you offer? Give us the services, and give a phone number out. Let people know, hey, I can help you with this. I can help you with that. Let's talk about what you're doing every day.
Okay, so at Heality, I offer vibroacoustic therapy. That's that amazing bed, and I really showcase the vibroacoustic therapy because it's a fairly new healing modality that a lot of people aren't aware of yet. Okay, but it's coming. And so it's a technology where you're lying on this bed, and inside the bed are tactile transducer speakers, and you have noise canceling headphones on where you're listening to scientifically proven healing sound frequencies. And you're feeling the vibrations on your body as you're listening to these frequencies, which sounds like meditative music. And you have an eye mask on, and that sends you into complete sensory deprivation. And so because we're energy and we're 70% water, these vibrations and these frequencies, they're resonating through all of our tissues, our cells, our organs, as well as our energetic field. And so vibroacoustic therapy is very powerful for physical conditions. So I treat a lot of people who come in with pain. I treat athletes. I treat a lot of people in the martial arts arena. They'll come in before a tournament to get the mental right, and then they'll come in after a tournament to get the physical right. But it helps with chronic conditions. I've had kids on the bed who have ADD, autism, so on and so forth. It's good for stress, anxiety, PTSD, grief, depression, anger management, addiction issues. And then there's also frequencies that you can play to send a person on a more spiritual journey. So I highly encourage, check out vibroacoustic therapy. It's amazing. And each and every person has their own experience. And every single time you experience it, it's going to be different. I've been on the bed hundreds of times, and every single time I get on the bed, I get exactly what I need. And sometimes it's just sleep. Okay. And so you're gonna get exactly what you need on the bed. So vibroacoustic therapy, as we mentioned earlier, I am a hypnotherapist. So if you want to change any thought patterns, any behaviors that no longer serve you, you want to address those traumas that have been swept under the rug, then hypnosis is a great service for that. And then I'm also an energy healer as well. And so with energy healing, I love to incorporate sound and frequencies into my energy healing sessions. So I'll play the sound bowls, which are just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I add a little bit of vibroacoustic therapy in there. And then I'll do the energy healing where I can assess the chakras. If there are any chakras that are blocked or closed, we can go ahead and open those up. I do use crystals in my energy healing sessions because crystals have frequencies, healing frequencies within themselves. And then just channel energy. So basically, whenever I'm channeling energy, my body is just used as a vehicle and a vessel, okay, to deliver that energy to that person in whatever area of their life that they need. I don't say, hey, Sally, you need this. I just use my body as a vehicle, and the energy is given to them whatever they needed in this lifetime, past lifetime, all dimensions, so on and so forth. And so energy healing is very powerful because a lot of us are holding on to that stagnant energy that I had mentioned in our body. And after energy healing session, everyone says, "Ooh, I feel lighter." Okay, because that's heavy energy that's in our bodies. And then I'm also a spiritual life coach as well. So if you're getting those, I call them Mike Tysons of the life, those uppercuts, and you need some help navigating, and getting some practical tools that you use, I can help with that as well. But one thing that I do want to say, okay, is that everyone that I work with, you are the healer. Okay, I'm just facilitating, I'm just guiding. Okay, but ultimately we attracted each other in each other's lives for a reason. Okay, so you're working with me and we're working together. This is a cohesive process where we work together to help people get to the space where you're your own healer. Okay. And, there's different religions out there, and I grew up in a Christian background. And so one of the things Jesus said, he said, all you have to do is believe and you're healed. And he was right. And we have these beautiful tools to assist us to get to that point to where we remember exactly who we are, to where if anything is bothering us, we just think, that's gone, it's healed, and it's done.
Yes.
I was just about to try to steal that little line, and you said it. You must believe.
Yes, you have to.
So give us where you're located, give the address, and then we're going to get you some more questions.
Okay, so I'm located in Houston, Texas, but I do offer online services as well. So some of the online services that I offer, energy healing. I do work with another energy healer as well, and she does a lot of the distant energy healing sessions. I can also do hypnosis as well as spiritual life coaching over the computer via Zoom. But if you want to come to see me in person in Houston, the address is 10333 Harwin Drive. That's spelled Harwin. And that's in Houston, Texas, zip code 77036. And all appointments are by appointment only. So in order to book an appointment, you can visit the Heality website at www.healitynow.com and see all the services and the pictures and read and decide what you want to come in for.
Okay, so you got a big following here. Cynthia Knoll says, we need to work on my throat chakra again. So obviously you've done some fabulous work with Cynthia.
Oh yes, Cynthia, yes, very, very dear.
So Patience says, so true. My labeled inflammatory arthritis is pretty much resolving after getting out of a toxic relationship. Yeah. Sometimes relationships can wear your butt out.
Oh, I know. yes, they can. Yes.
Rashonda says uterine fibroids. Is that the sacral?
Yes.
Chakra? Okay.
Definitely
okay.
sacral.
Okay. And obviously, Tanisha says, speak, girl.
Yes, that's another powerful healer right there, Tanisha. She's doing big things over there in Phoenix, Arizona. She's tapped in, tuned in too. You may want to have her on your show one day, Jason.
I got to get on here. I want to get it. Anybody who is wanting to share, because if you have all this knowledge and you're not sharing, then what are you doing?
Exactly.
You got to share it. So yeah. I want you to talk to me about transformative meditation and plant medicine day retreat. It's going to be on March 29th, 2022. Talk to us about that.
Yes. So I have been guided to do retreats, and I really do resonate with the various types of plant medicine. And so I am going to be hosting or leading a day retreat. It's going to be from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And during this, we're going to dive deep. So I'm going to talk more about the law of attraction, because when the original documentary came out in the early 2000s, it was very, very kind of like surface. Okay. Yeah. We're going to get into deep, how do you really manifest? And it's more than just the mind. Okay. It's more than just thoughts become things. It's dealing with the heart center, the mind, our feelings, and so on and so forth. And so we're really going to dive into that. And then I'm going to lead the group into a guided meditation. During my guided meditations, I do use frequency music to help you dive in real deep. And we're going to do a guided meditation for manifestation, because we're going to take advantage of these beautiful energies that's amongst us right now on this planet, and how we can use these energies amongst us to really live the life that we desire to live. And then we're going to do an intention setting ceremony. Okay, we're going to set some intentions, and we're going to manifest those in our lives. And so that's going to be the first day of the retreat, first half of the day of the retreat, and then we'll break for lunch. Lunch will be provided, and then for the second half, I'm going to introduce a very sacred plant medicine called Hape. Okay, and I'm going to educate the group on exactly what Hape is, its history, how we can use it to transform our lives physically, mentally, emotionally. And then I'm going to actually serve the group Hape in a ceremonial fashion. So Hape is a sacred snuff that's found in the Amazon, and people have they've been using
No.
this energy. They've been using it to tap into their spiritual gifts. They even have Hape for certain physical conditions, so on and so forth. And so I'm going to introduce Hape to people who are just, ready to change, ready to clear all this stuff out, so you can start living the life you came here to live, which is abundant.
When you said snuff, that made me think of my grandmother. And now we have to analyze. We have to figure out if she, was she gaining more energy when she was doing that snuff, Tereska?
Hey, grannies, they had that wisdom.
They had that snuff. Yeah.
They'd be like, yeah, I'm feeling good, baby. Go back in my purse and get that brown bag with that pill. Pill don't have no name on it, nothing. It's like a bunch of herbs they crumble up and put in there, and you take it, and you may sleep for 4 days, but when you wake up, you're a brand new person. So, our ancestors had a lot of wisdom, and it was just lost, especially in our Western culture. But we're living in a beautiful time right now because people are open, people are awakening, people are like, look, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yes.
And so all this ancient wisdom that we've been using, our ancestors have been using since the beginning of the time, is coming back to surface. And I love it. I love it.
So we have another one of our cousins. He says, love what y'all doing, fam. Been very interested to go in deeper. And then we had a conversation, him and I, but have been very busy. So is it some type of way of medication for a successful section? And I'm not sure what he was trying to say, but I think he meant meditation.
Yeah.
So he's probably saying, is there some type of meditation you can use to be successful? And basically that's what we're talking about. We're talking about reprogramming your subconscious, and we're talking about setting your intentions. But you said something very unique when you talked about you have to dive in deeper to the law of attraction. And you talked about the medicine part, the plant medicine, all that part. And another part of that, and I know that you know this as well, but Tereska always preaches food.
Yes.
There are superfoods that you can eat, that you should eat while you're manifesting.
Yes.
And manifesting with a heavy meat diet, forget about it. You're not bringing in anything. But people need to understand about meat is this: you're living, but you're eating something that's dead. If you eat things that are living, just like you, don't you think that you'll get more energy? You know what I mean? And that was something that I read. And we all struggle from time to time with what we've been programmed to do, and that's to eat meat. It's to eat burgers and eat hot dog and whatever, barbecue. And plus, look at us. Okay. So I thought that was very interesting when you talked about that. You have a long one from Tanisha. Ebony is such a powerful person. Just a week ago, she helped my husband and I release some troubling energy off of our daughter. Her essence is alone is extremely healing. So when she sets those intentions, you'll be blown away. So that is good that you have people that really think that highly of you. I think highly of you. I've been on you for how many? 2 months, a month, and you're gone. You out of town. You busy, but you finally were able to say, Jason, I got you. Yeah, Jason, I got you. And, but transformative manifestation and medicine plan day. Do you have? Is it solid yet, or you're still working on the day?
So it's already set up. I'm only going to be able to take 10 people. So right now I have 7 spots left. So if you're interested in the plant medicine retreat, there are several ways that you can register for. You can go to Eventbrite if you like, or let me do this. Let me give you all my email address. Okay. And then once I give you my email address, if you're interested in the transformative manifestation and plant medicine retreat, you can just send me an email and then I'll send you the link directly.
Okay.
So info at healitynow.com.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
then you can also follow Heality on Facebook as well as Instagram. And it's going to be at the @ Heality Now. And then you'll find the Transformative Manifestation and Plant Medicine Day Retreat on there, and you can register directly. So 7 spots left. Wish I could take more, but in the future, we'll definitely be doing a lot more of these and things of that nature.
But you know, I'm glad you're only taking 10 people, because for a person who's in this industry, this business like you, when you start getting 50 and 40 people, that's a lot when you're teaching this type of modality.
At that
And
time.
for you to do 10 people, you really are trying to reach people.
Yes.
And you don't want a lot of people. It's not about the money. It's about transferring information and help people understand how to live the life they want while incarnated here on earth.
Yes. Yes.
I
wanted to answer that one question that gentleman asked about meditation.
Yes.
So here's the thing. 10 minutes of meditation, literally, that's all you need. Scientists have proven that if you meditate 10 minutes a day, it creates new neural pathways, it reduces stress, it decreases inflammation in your body, it makes you more less reactive. I mean, the health benefits alone. I know when I started meditating and we spoke about diet, my diet changed. I used to have a horrible diet. I spent all day in the gym, but was eating like crazy. And when I started meditating, like I used to eat a lot of meat. Meat doesn't resonate with me anymore. And so I don't tell people not to eat meat, but I will say this: whenever I changed my diet, everything cleared up. Okay, the skin, my health, and things of that nature. So, make sure you listen to your body, but 10 minutes of meditation a day. Okay, I know folks spend hours on Facebook and Instagram, and sometimes I can get caught up in that too, but 10 minutes a day is all that you need. So take 10 minutes of time for yourself and just sit quietly and watch how you feel.
It's scientifically proven. I think I told you that I'm a transcendental meditator. So I took a TM course here in Houston, and it's 20 minutes twice a day. And scientifically, it's proven to lower your blood pressure, reduce stress. And while you're in this state, this transcendence, you start off, and I gave this example before in another show. When you're meditating, you start off with being on top of the wave, the waters. You can hear the waters. And as you transcend, you're in the middle of the ocean, and you can hear the bubbles, but it's quiet. But to reach transcendence, and when you're at the bottom of the ocean, it's nothing but thoughts.
Yes.
And when you can reach the level, and if 10 minutes is good for you to get to the thoughts of nothing else going on, but just you and your just thought. If you can get there in 10 minutes, great. But in 20 minutes for me, when I get to transcendence, and it's just pure consciousness, pure thought.
Yes.
Now, sometimes I'll nod off. And my instructor told me when you nod off and you wake up, you've just released stress. You've just released any kind of anxiety you had. So if you guys want to, because I was meditating, I was using a lot of different techniques, which they worked. But I wanted something that could really, really focus me, because I was really, really trying to master remote viewing and master the relationship to call on my subconscious mind to give me information. And I noticed at the Farsight Institute in Atlanta, where they were actually teaching this remote viewing course, they had all of these people take transcendental meditation. So if you hadn't heard of that, you may want to look at that. Your subconscious mind is the key to a lot of things that's going on with your life. Higher subconscious mind, they're rolled up into one. But once you learn how to be still, right here though, be quiet and just still and just be full of thoughts, you can program yourself that much more easily. Tereska, you want to say something?
Just two things from the Word of God. Because we have been so inundated with some wonderful information. The Bible tells us people perish for lack of knowledge. And then in all you're getting, get understanding. And if you seek getting that understanding, if you move toward that on a day-to-day basis, even in meditation and whatever exercise you choose, if you seek that, then you're on your way.
Yes. Amen.
Amen. You want to give a last any parting words for the audience, Ebony?
You know, it's time. It's time to step into your power, okay? And remember who you are. And we are in a beautiful, beautiful time in history, okay? We just came out of an experience that has never happened on this planet as of yet, okay? And the energy, the frequency of the planet is astronomically high right now. Okay. They call it the Schumann resonance. Okay. That's what scientists call it. That's the frequency of the planet. We all have a vibrational frequency and it has shot up astronomically. Okay. So not only has Mother Earth raised her vibration, guess what? We are inhabitants of this planet. So our vibration is going to be raised too. So everything that has been looking crazy for the past couple of years, because things have been looking, you know, a little crazy for the past few years, all that was the dark night of the soul of the collective. Okay, we have our individual dark night of the soul, my shadow self, and then we have the collective. So all this stuff is coming up, and old systems have to be broken down so new ones can be brought in. And so this is each and every one of this is your time to shine. Each and every one of you all who are viewing this or listening to this tonight, you are spiritual beings that's having a human experience, and it is your birthright. Okay, I'm gonna say this again: it is your birthright to have prosperity, perfect health, perfect physical health, mental health, emotional health, a deep spiritual connection where you are in tune with your guides and your spirit team who's always just cheering you on. So take advantage of these energies. Heal that stuff, okay? That stuff that we've been sweeping under the rug and want to avoid. Guess what? When these vibrations and these frequencies raise on this planet, it's bringing all that stuff up anyways, okay? It's going to bring it up. So it's like we can go the easy way or we can go the hard way, okay? I've been the hard way. I choose the easy way now, okay? But we have to trust, we have to surrender, and just know that each and every one of you all, you're worthy. You deserve to have whatever it is that you desire in your life. But you have to dig deep within, okay? And that's how you change the world. I was a big Michael Jackson fan. My father's from Gary, Indiana, so he said it with that song, start the man in the mirror, okay? So if you want to change your reality, your experience, how you show up in the world, it's always going to start within. So let's do that work. These frequencies, as amongst us, is accelerating fast. Be careful where your thoughts are because people are manifesting quickly. Okay, I manifested things in 5 minutes and I was like, whoa, okay, I really, you really have to be mindful of what we're thinking. And guess what? That works with negative thoughts too. So if you have negative thoughts, these frequencies that's amongst us right now, they're going to happen very fast. So just work on yourself day by day. Rome wasn't built overnight. Don't judge yourself if you have a day of, eating a gallon of ice cream or whatever, but just be easy on yourself and set intentions to be the highest version of yourself. So those are my words that I have for the audience tonight.
I knew you was going to bring the heat tonight, and you did. I knew you were going to bring the heat tonight. Okay, so Ebony, do not go anywhere. I'm going to move you to the back office. We're going to close this out. You stay right there. Absolutely bone-chilling information.
So much wonderful information, just with so much clarity. We've had a lot of guests on the show and listened to a lot of different people, but I never have I received it in such a clear way this time around for some reason.
Yeah, she's very, very talented. She's very, very gifted. She's woke. Her journey is that's why we hit it off so well. We are very similar. She's a treat. If you live in anywhere close, Dallas, Houston, wherever you are in Texas, or if you're anywhere in the country, get on a plane and come see this woman. Okay? Come see her. Okay. I'm going to move you to the back office. We're going to talk to Ebony a little bit. I'm going to close this thing out. Fabulous. Fabulous show. Transformative manifestation. How to heal your body using your mind. How to use psilocybin. How to use ayahuasca, how to use psychedelics to change your life. to heal yourself, to destroy the human ego. These are a ton of ways to have your body be purified and also create a better life for you while you're incarnated here on earth. Using your subconscious mind to give you the answers that you're looking for. These processes are not hard to do, but you have to commit yourself to doing them. There are a lot of techniques that we have just not been taught. We all believe in God. We all go to church and study the Bible, but we don't get this type of information. And you have to dig, you have to do your research, and you have to find out. I am Jason Medlock. I am your host. This has been the expansion of consciousness. We will see you the next time. And you guys have a great, great night. Thank you very much.